Hello, welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. We have only one story for you today. Don't leave until the bathroom is spotless? You got it, boss. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Alright, let's get started. Our first story. Don't leave until the bathroom is spotless? You got it, boss. During my time working at a grocery store, I went through multiple managers. Some were good, and I got along with them, others, not so much. The manager in this story wasn't the worst I've had, but I can definitely say she was the most annoying to deal with. She was one of those types that went, I don't know your duties all that well, but I will micromanage you and you have to do things my way. And got angry if we didn't do things her way, even if her way wasn't the most efficient. Around the time she started as a manager, a new store policy was being implemented about cleaning the small public bathroom in the back of the store every 2 hours. Honestly, I was not against that. As the public bathroom had only a single toilet and sink, a quick mop and spray wouldn't take too long anyway, and cleanliness was made all the more important when COVID first started. Unfortunately, my manager's micromanagement came into play even here. Basically, if the place wasn't clean enough to eat off of, it wasn't clean according to her. Yes, somehow, she expected that level of cleanliness every 2 hours, while all of us are busy with our own work. It didn't help that occasionally there were doodles and other such things on the walls that were hard, if not impossible, to get out with just normal cleaning supplies. I even remember that one time some guy used spray paint to do some graffiti in there. Anyway, one day it'll be my turn to clean the bathroom. At the time, it was considerably busy due to a lack of cashiers that day. As I was often used as a backup cashier at that point, I didn't have the time to do such a deep clean like my manager wanted at the 2-hour mark. A bit later, my manager apparently must have seen the bathroom herself, and she decided to pull me away to berate me. The following is an abridged version of what was said. Manager, why didn't you clean the bathroom? You were supposed to do it earlier. Me, I did, but I didn't have the time to deep clean everything. I had to help some customers at the cash register. There are some things I can't clean in there anyway. Manager, no excuses. You're not a full-time cashier anyway. Now go back and clean it again. And do it right this time. I want it to be spotless. Don't leave until you're done. Me, ma'am. And now it's finally time for the malicious compliance. As mentioned earlier, sometimes there were things on the walls that just would not come out with the cleaning materials we had on hand, hence why we usually had a cleaning company do such deep cleaning at night. This naturally resulted in my not being able to leave, as I had no way of cleaning these things myself. So, I just did my best to clean what I could and then just sat on the toilet doing stuff on my phone. I had nothing else to do after all and nowhere I could go. Of course, I wasn't mean-spirited enough to make the customers' bladders suffer for my compliance, so I did exit the bathroom when somebody needed to use it, but I went back in afterwards. All in all, I didn't do much for the next 5 hours or so. I just got paid for sitting around on my phone and occasionally cleaning. Hooray for having a charger on hand. The fallout outside the bathroom, however, was much more eventful. It turns out that a bit after I was sentenced to being in my bathroom jail cell, one of the cashiers ended up clocking out for the day and another cashier had called in sick. That just left one cashier, technically two, but one has to run the self-checkout, and my manager to deal with the horde of customers wanting to check out during one of the busiest days of the week. As expected, I was called over the loudspeaker multiple times to come help, from that manager of all people. But I was like, you ordered me to stay in here, so I'm staying in here, and I didn't respond to those calls. It didn't help that I knew she called because she just didn't want to do any cashier work. Eventually, that other cashier also ended up having to clock out for the day. So when normally me and the one who called out sick would be at the cash registers, my manager had to do this mostly by herself. Unfortunately, I couldn't see this in real time as I was in the back, but I do hope she had to suffer a bit from angry, rude, and/or entitled customers. I ended up leaving my prison a bit after 8 p.m., which was after she left for the night. I hadn't had my lunch break after all, and I actually felt like helping after she was gone. During my next shift with her in charge, I got pulled into the office by her and sat down with another manager, I suppose as a witness or something. Once again, below is the abridged version. Manager, where were you that day? You didn't respond to any calls, and nobody could find you. You must have left the store. Me, I was simply following orders. Your orders, I might add. Manager, what are you talking about? Me, you told me that I couldn't leave the bathroom until I made sure it was spotless. Manager, well, it shouldn't have taken you that long. Me, I did tell you there was stuff I couldn't clean with the supplies on hand, but you insisted. Even said you'd fire me if I didn't do it. Okay, the last part was a lie. I made it up to get the other manager in the room more on my side, but it also had the unintended effect of getting the micromanaging manager to nearly lunge at me, and she started full on yelling at me. Despite willingly taking part in trying to piss her off with the malicious compliance, I still had some anxiety issues, which kicked in during this time. That was enough for the other manager to step in and stop this. In the end, I was just told I could go back to my normal duties and that I didn't have to keep the bathroom that clean. Unfortunately, my micromanaging manager didn't seem to get much more than a slap on the wrist. To be fair, it made sense, as she didn't do much else besides yell at me, and there was no physical altercation. But even then, I managed to have some fun before I left that job, for unrelated reasons, by simply watching her frustrated face and knowing that she couldn't micromanage me as much anymore. TLDR, the manager tells me to clean the bathroom and not leave until it's spotless. There are spots that can't be cleaned, so I take a 5-hour paid bathroom break. Well, that's all for this video. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one.